there's a lot of news that's happened with Arcade1up. New wave, we know about at games. I was gonna do like a 90s theme, like wish list, and believe it or not, there were some cabs from the 80s that I actually thought were the 90s. So instead of that, we're gonna kind of push that one back. We'll do a 90s later. Go in here and check out some different arcades that we haven't seen yet. And is this something you're looking for? We'll run inside the vault and check them out. And there's a social media page, and I'll leave links for the vault in the description. We're actually gonna do our wristbands required while we're here, but this segment is the walk and talk vintage vault arcade. And going around the dance studio up here, you can see the balcony. There's actually some people leaving the parking lot over here. It's a bigger parking lot in the front, so I came down that road, and you can see the arcades through the window and just their hours here. Fridays 12 to 10, Saturdays 12 to 10, Sundays 12 to 10, closed all other days. It's Thursday, so actually I think he's open Wednesday, Thursday, like this. Maybe this has to get updated, but they do take cash and credit card.
All the games are, they play till 10 o'clock? You know?
Walking through the door, and there's one thing I want to show first, and this is for you, Saiyan Spirits. You can see the Spider-Man behind me. I came here just for Spider-Man. I said I was going to be here like a week ago. Something came up. I think it was time crisis. I mean, there's just so much news going on that the schedule kind of got bumped back, but we made it here tonight. And we'll check out all the arcades at the vault. Vintage arcade. Would absolutely love having this at home. You can just see that art with Spider-Man, Green Goblin, Kingpin, there's Venom. Man, it's just so cool. The Black Cat. Saw this light on Etsy today of Spider-Man. LED light, very cool. This is a must-have arcade cabinet. I thought there was something that kind of connected under here. It's kind of like that Star Wars flight yoke, which I was hoping was on that Buy Stuff mod. But I'm hearing that we will see this on Buy Stuff's next mod. So if you're interested in getting Road Blasters, we're not far away from it. I played this one a lot. I actually played Revolution X more than Terminator 2. These are just great midway shooting games. Just remember these guns here, just in comparison of Terminator 2's. Love this game. This would be so cool to have at home. I hope it's on the Buy Stuff mod. Oh my gosh, I have not played Duck Hunt for so long. It's $20 to get in here. It's a free play. I'm trying to play this left-handed. Is he gonna laugh? There he is. Never see is a Budweiser tapper. Just, you know, obvious reasons, but it's actually kind of thought there'd be a fridge right here. Like I reach in there. I'm used to seeing all those mods. That's very cool to see. Yeah, Food Fight. Something we saw from New Wave Toys, and you know, if the rumors are true about New Wave, I mean, here's a possible cabinet you could have. I mean, you look at all their quarter scale that they've done, Crystal Castles. This is a cabinet that they've done, and you know, along with others, the obvious is Qbert. They have a 4-player X-Men. This is a great game if you've ever played it. Something to definitely check out. It's right next to Double Dragon 2. Another 80s wish list for a lot of people. And Smash TV would be right next to Robotron at the top of a lot of people's lists. Both of these, I mean, these are probably the most in demand out of any of the arcades that we're seeing. And what's interesting about this Smash TV is the last one I saw kind of came out. You can see that artwork. It kind of came out kind of like the Superman shield. And when I saw that one, this is the one I remember playing, which I played this more on Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, but when I did play it on the arcade, this was the one that I'm familiar with. I have more nostalgia for Smash TV than Robotron 2084. Stargate. These are another top of the list. You know, when will we get titles like this? I mean, they're throwing a lot of titles at us, which, you know, we can't complain. The price we can complain about, but I mean, I think it's just a matter of time before we do see either one of these with that total carnage. The rumors are true about New Wave. That's my pick on who would give us a cube or cabinet. I don't think we'd get this from Arcade1up anymore. We've seen this on the smaller scale. Probably come with cube or cubes. A question came up, and I think it was Jester Tester, said, would you replace all your Arcade1ups with deluxe? Like if they all went deluxe? And I said no. I mean, I don't think that they're gonna make, they might, but I don't know if just to get rid of the riser, if they gave me a bigger X-Men or bigger Turtles, yeah, I'll go with that. I just can't get away from this Spider-Man. I keep coming back to here. I just want to talk Nintendo really quick. Let's say, I'm waiting for the sub-mirror. Look at his feet. So it's always funny that you have the bare feet in the game, like, you know, you're playing 4 players, and I remember this at one of these buffet diners we used to go to, and whoever got stuck with, you wanted to be Spider-Man. Who doesn't want to be Spider-Man? You know, I guess maybe Hawkeye's like your second. You get stuck with Submariner. It's like, I don't want to be Submariner. What if New Wave did a Nintendo cab? I just thought of that looking at that. Like, there's a rumor to start. Think about that. You know, Arcade1up, no Nintendo. Yeah, Dr. Doom. But New Wave? What if they did it? What if that's how you got Donkey Kong? It was a New Wave cab. Back to New Wave. I mean, what if, you know, you're looking at Donkey Kong Jr. What if they give us a cab? What if it's New Wave? How crazy would that be? They could take over the industry. They're cruising. We do have plenty of good drivers here. Superstars WWF. You're not gonna see that if we saw that from a home arcade. A 2-player off-road. Did see the 3-player. G.I. Joel modded a 3-player off-road at home. I think he's pretty much done with that. It looks cool. You can watch Arcades Anonymous. You can always see it behind him. I was hoping they had Narc here. I didn't confirm that they did. Looking online at some of the pictures, I didn't come across it. I am surprised to see some of these other titles, but I was kind of hoping for Narc. That would have been, if this would have been like a 90s, you can see Hook right here. If this would have been a 90s like wish list, I would have said Narc, but Narc is an 80s cab. It's like 1988. And Major Havoc is one of those Atari 50 titles, along with Crystal Castles we just saw right over here. I think the game lineup's great on the Atari 50. The more I go over the look of the cab, I can nitpick about it. It didn't bother me with all the 50s on it. You could just pretend here. But when you got to the control panel, with that 50 right there, kind of was over the top. On the sides, you know, you just like your arcade at home, like you're not going to see a lot of the side art. You know, looking at all these, they're so close together. You know, you can get past some of those things. Maximum Force. They have a great lineup of shooters here. Street Fighter 2, very similar to, well, actually this is the Shinku Street Fighter 2 Turbo. So this is the actual one. I have the Arcade1up Shinku Hadouken. I actually expected to see that artwork. It wasn't arcade accurate. But that world map, this is cool to see. But what drew me was, you know, that deluxe form factor, and that's a cabinet I'm gonna get in, and I'll get into Time Crisis and all these other new cabinets of which ones I'm interested in and which ones I'm gonna wait, but I love that control panel. It's the best intro ever.
Revolution has begun! Generation X is in effect!
My tops would be Sega Spider-Man, definitely. If they could just nail, and it's not just Arcade1up, it's any home arcade company, like, again, who can emerge. I'd love to see Sega Spider-Man. I'll agree that the next Turtles cabinet, XL, Deluxe, whatever, this is the artwork we want. Where Michelangelo's wearing yellow, where Shredder's wearing glasses, that classic April O'Neil. I mean, how many times as a kid did you come up to this arcade? It's tempting that when Arcade1up, the whole KI fiasco, where they're giving everyone that, what, $25 virtual hi-fi and everything, they brought the OG cabinets back, and let's just say we're $5.99. It was tempting, even though it doesn't have the online play, to buy that just for this artwork. I missed out on that 2-player countercade. I wish I would have got it. I still wish that I come across that used, I'd pick it up just for this. But when we're talking XL or Deluxe, definitely I would totally upgrade for this Turtles cabinet. Lethal Enforcers is a must for me also. It's just as important as Smash TV, Robotron 2084. This is something that I absolutely love, and if I had a choice between Lethal Enforcers, a true cab, a dedicated cab, or Area 51, I want Lethal Enforcers. I mean, this art, this is what it's all. You go back to those cop movies, late 80s, early 90s, this is it. You can just appreciate this. This was at my local movie theater. I would play this all the time. I'd play Area 51 too. But this one, just look at the guns. This is heavy, holy cow. It has been forever since I picked up one of these.
Player 1.
Progress at 32nd Street, stay big.
No, put your hands up! You missed me, pig!
And many of you would go open ice, obviously. This is, you hear about open ice just about every time someone says, what are you looking for? Home arcade. I would say Arcade1up prior to this video, but I just feel there's something from New Wave, so I don't want to always say, what would we get from Arcade1up. Just home arcade in this scenario. It could probably be Arcade1up, but look at the starter logo. So there's things about this, just comparing it to Blitz, which I'm losing my Blitz right over here. How Arcade1up changed up Blitz. They'd probably have to do some things with open ice, just seeing that starter logo, but when you think 90s sports, starter. What are some of your choices in here? What's your must that you'd love to see in the home arcade? Arcade1up, at games, modding on your iArcade, or New Wave, or just anything. If you could have any of these arcades, real or home arcade, 3/4 scale, what would you go with? Other than what we've seen, the big announcements in the last couple of weeks, and what's to come, like the speculation of that 80s cap. It's something I always want to go over. I'm trying to leave people up, but there are kids in this arcade, and all age groups. This is something that I talk about when we see Arcade1up in a store, or you see them at Walmart, and even that ABT Electronics. I know there's other places, RC Willie, I keep saying RC Wiley, that if you put these out, you know, it will draw people of all ages, and there are plenty of kids in here playing these games. Like, it's not all the newer stuff. You put this stuff out, people will flock to it, and that's what's great about these places. You know, you can go to your Dave & Buster's and stuff for newer games. Check out these small arcades up here. What will come next? What we can get, you know, as we get deeper and deeper in this hobby, this expensive hobby, guys. You know, that's what I always tell people. You know, when I sell a cabinet and they're starting off, and believe it or not, not a lot of people are familiar with Arcade1up per se. I just had a comment. I'm making room for cabs, and I do have a cabinet. I'm going to put a couple more on, but I do have one on Marketplace, and you know, a question came up: where are you finding these? It's like they've never even seen it before. Like, they're just amazed. I always tell them, you know, just be careful. It's an expensive hobby, and it's, you know, it's addicting. You know, you pick up a couple of these, and you want more. Awesome arcade. It's kind of raining out. I'm under this canopy. You can see there's a dance studio above me. We're gonna finish up this part of the walk and talk. I'm gonna go home. Tomorrow morning we're gonna pick it back up, but when you're watching this, it's gonna pick up just like that. And just like that, it's another day. We had a blast at the Vintage Vault Arcade. I wanna say hi to Mr. Fox. We went over a couple of must-haves. We know about the new cabinets coming out. We're gonna get to that, but I wanted to check out, kind of going backwards here, instead of finishing off with must-haves, we'll talk about, you know, everything else. I just didn't want to start the video out that way. Plus, going in on a weeknight, checking out the arcade instead of on a weekend when a ton of people will be there, we could really check it out. And if I had to pick two favorites, Mr. Fox, we saw some great games. If I had to pick two favorites, Lethal Enforcers, obviously. I think that is my favorite shooting game. And Sega Spider-Man. Otherwise, I would name all the other shooters: Area 51, Revolution X, Lethal Enforcers 1 and 2. Those are awesome games. But one choice, give me one choice. I'm going Lethal Enforcers, Arcade1up, make it happen. Give us a Lethal Enforcers Lakeland cabinet. All right, I need a coffee. I'm gonna head to Dunkin', Mr. Fox. We'll see you later.
What can I get for you?
Hi, can I get a large black coffee, hot?
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Here's a bubble.
And mission accomplished. We got our coffee. Run inside Hobby Lobby, looking for something specific. This time we're not just gonna go in there and talk Arcade1up. On the hunt for something. Actually, right next door is a Spirit Halloween. They're starting to pop up. We're getting closer and closer. Gosh, it's August, Halloween already. But I do suppose that if there's something you're looking for this season for Halloween, whether it's yourself or one of your kids, I guess now would be the time to shop. Find all the good stuff. The longer you wait, everything gets picked over. Isn't that right, Frankenstein? Since we're doing live streams in a different location, finally got set up a little differently. We were in the basement in Lucky's gym. Want to find something behind me? I feel like the TV, if you ever watch Arcades Anonymous Wednesday nights, I feel the TV's kind of messing with the lighting in that room, and I'm afraid of having that 55-inch running the Bobby Sarah behind me is altering the lighting, and I want to put something else behind me. We're in Hobby Lobby, and it might not be the only Hobby Lobby we go to. There's another one close to the area, because if they don't have what I'm looking for here, we'll run over and check it out. And because it's Saturday, we're able to stop in at Hobby Lobby, sometimes doing a walk and talk on a Sunday. Hobby Lobbies are closed on Sundays, can't stop in here, so that's why we kind of take some breaks. It just depends. Lately, there are some sales here. You're looking for PlayStation 2 Lite, PlayStation Lite, $19.99, Xbox $19.99, coming down from $24.99. Not a huge liquidation, but I did see a sign when I walked in that they will have a Labor Day sale. And speaking of Labor Day, you gotta wonder if we're gonna see any Arcade1up sales for that Labor Day weekend. with all these new cabinets coming out, you would think we're gonna see some sales. I do like that Pac-Man Ghost. So much coming out. We have the Pac-Man XL, the Atari 50, Big Buck Pro, and actually, I thought about this one. A couple of days ago, I did think about this. You know, once I found out the price of Time Crisis, that shooting cab, it is appealing getting a light gun game, that's for sure. Wheel of Fortune, MK2 Classic, Time Crisis, of course. I mean, that's on the top of everyone's list. Only downside is that price. There is a review from Cons R Us. 19K Fox also has some great talking points. I do want this cab, but I'm holding out. I'm not going to pay $749, and I apologize if people are expecting me to pick this up. I think there's going to be a lot of people in the community picking this up, and you'll see a lot more reviews because of all these cabinets coming out, like Street Fighter 2 Deluxe, Galaga, and NBA Jam, and the Kith cabinet. Out of all those cabinets, I'm going to pick up 2 of them. Sega Genesis controller. Before they had the 6 buttons, the 3 buttons on the Sega Genesis. That's a goodie. Put my phone in my pocket here. What's the price on this? You have that Sega Genesis logo. $23.99. Usually there's a sale, like 40% off of wall art. I'll see if that's popping up, but $23.99 Sega Genesis. Something like this. This is what I was looking for. A specific Batman logo. There was a different one, kind of similar to this logo, but bigger, and it would have a red LED behind it. It's not showing up online, and I didn't see it at this location. I did see it at the other location. We might be stopping by, but I do have my eye on that Batman logo. And going back to the $749 Time Crisis, just because of all those cabs we just looked at, that's what's keeping me away from. I don't think it's worth $749. I mean, don't get me wrong, but you know, I did want to do a review on that cabinet, break it down, but there's other ones coming out, and because of that, I'm gonna hold off. They did have a Spider-Man that's very similar to that Batman. Right around the corner here you can see the Spider-Man LED light. Those are tempting. They are on sale from $54.99 to $21.99. Let's go ahead and go to the next GameStop. It's at 1UP. Just reminds me of Arcade1up. Let's see what else we find, if there's something different than what we saw here, but there was some good stuff. I want to clarify something really quick about Time Crisis. Now, I was going to totally get it, and even if it was $6.99, I probably would have pulled the trigger. $7.49 is just too steep because of all those releases from Arcade1up. I want to get 2 of them. That game's coming out with the ALP, the ALU. I was interested in at least one. I'm not sure if I'm going to go pinball or the ALU. I haven't decided. I'm going to see that in Cleveland, along with I'm going to Cleveland less than a month. All this is just too much to take on right now. Plus, I just got confirmation that the Retro Shooters has a sale for $209. So if you're interested in getting Retro Shooters, check them out. I'll have a link in the description. $209 to get all those games. If you're interested in the Buy Stuff mod, if you have a T2, you're gonna need that anyways. Buy Stuff's not gonna have that. I kind of thought it was all gonna be in one. You're gonna need to buy Retro Shooter separately. So with all of this stuff, it's just too much for me to take on right now. I will pick up Time Crisis eventually, but there'll be other people doing reviews on it, and I'll pay full price. If I'm gonna make content, I have to bite the bullet and buy some of this, but right now it's just too much to take on with everything we just talked about. Just to clarify that there's times I will pay full price to get that review. Check out this area. It's just like deja vu. Even the hats, the same setup we saw at that last Hobby Lobby, they have here. Actually, there's less people at this store than the last one we were at. There's times that I'll pay the full price. I'll pre-order, and we'll break down the cabinet along with other content creators. Will do the same. It's just that with everything coming out, with the trip to Cleveland, $749 is really high right now for that. And eventually I'll pick it up, but there's other cabinets that I'm interested in, and we're gonna break down, we're gonna do reviews on. They just show us Time Crisis, and then they show us, you know, 5, 6 other cabinets. And the first thing I said is, well, if I'm gonna get a couple cabinets, you know, I can't justify spending $749 yet. And I think a lot of people are looking at the same thing, like, depending on, and there's nothing wrong with if you're interested in any of these cabinets. I mean, you know, you have every right to like the Casinocade or the Atari 50 for that matter. I mean, it doesn't appeal to everybody, but, you know, if that's something you want to bring home, and Time Crisis also is, like, you gotta be selective, you gotta be choosy. That's a lot to take in. They do have that Batman LED sign here. Some other aisles, but this is exactly what we saw at the last Hobby Lobby. So just hoping we come across some other stuff. I just don't understand why they throw everything immediately at us. Like, they took business away. If they just would have came out with Time Crisis and said, you know, everything else is, there's 2 months away, you know, to get something like Street Fighter 2 Deluxe, you know, I'd probably pull the trigger then, especially if it just would have came in at $6.99 or less. I do think that Retro Shooters mod for $209 is it's a pretty good deal. I feel bad because I know it was like at least $269. P-Dub's Arcade1up did, I might have even been a month ago, I'm not sure, but I remember him doing about an hour breaking down that, and it was close to $300 for that kit. And at $209, and then you can upgrade, you know, you can get the controls, have other games on there. But if you're just interested in the light gun games, $209 for all those games, it's a pretty good deal. Check out this classic microphone. Pretty vintage. Always some good stuff at Hobby Lobby. I haven't been to this store in a long time. I just saw this. This is a great picture. Just all the cassette tapes. Stuff you don't come across. Some Disney stuff at Hobby Lobby. I really feel like I like that old Coke logo. I feel like I missed out on, I was looking for a specific Batman logo for just a backdrop, and I'm not seeing it here. Because there's things that, you know, when you're out and you don't pick up, you miss out on. There's times you can convince yourself not to let FOMO take control, but unique stuff like that, and you don't pick it up, it might be the only chance you see it. I do love this MTV. I like the color combination, and there's a sign, items labeled the Spring Shop, 90% off. And on the back side of this picture, you do see that Spring Shop, so $39.99. Take 90% off it. If that price is legit, I mean, I'm gonna pick this up immediately. I mean, you're not gonna pass on something that cheap. Okay, so the MTV sign, $39.99, 90% off. I mean, it's basically $5. That Batman LED wall art, I'm having a hard time between this, and it's not, you know, it's cheap. There is a sale, $21.99, 12.5 by 12.5, along with, you know, this is just catching my eye, and it actually comes out, it's kind of 3D. If I can kind of capture that on camera, like the red's flat, but the controller is coming out. Which one would you guys get? Would you go Sega Genesis? And it's about $24, $23.99. Sega Genesis. I do have a Sega Genesis, the Sega Genesis 2, in the same room where I would put this picture, kind of leaning towards this. I don't want to miss out on the Batman, just for the prime reason of missing out on that bigger Batman. Maybe I get both. Maybe I get both of these and the MTV. Guys, nostalgia's nostalgia. What do you guys think? Deals going on at Hobby Lobby. It's hard to resist. Okay, I opted out of the Batman LED for now. I didn't want to come home with too much stuff. I don't know how Kelly's gonna react to that MTV. I mean, I just love that logo. We got the we got the Sega Genesis picture, okay? I'm like, I'm not gonna miss out on that one. That's the one that could be sold out. I forgot where I parked. That's too good to pass up. That's going right on the wall. And the Batman LED is good. It's really windy out. Probably come back next billing cycle to pick that up. The fact that there were a couple here, a couple at the previous Hobby Lobby is a good sign. Stop off at Burger King, grab some lunch. I almost went to McDonald's, but a lot of traffic over there, a lot of cars. This is a good Burger King, not too many cars in the parking lot. Really craving the Whopper. I just love the handles when you go to Burger King. Just classic. We'll go with a Mel Yellow today. And a double Whopper. The mound of pickles off. Got a double Whopper. No cheese. Opted out of the cheese. It's been a long time since I had a double Whopper. You know, it's not something you see on the menu. I saw a double Whopper with bacon, but craving a big Whopper today. It's been a while since we did any foodies on here. Just a quick pit stop at Burger King. I was gonna finish the video off going back to Hobby Lobby. I talked myself into that Batman LED sign, but I am selling 2 Arcade1ups, and I'll go back to Hobby Lobby. The buyer is on his way here, and just like what we were talking about, with those new releases coming, we're gonna have to part with these. Like, it's an expensive hobby. These are the 2 cabinets we're selling. NBA Jam and Turtles in Time. You know how bad I wanted that Shaq Jam? So, you know, we gotta make room. Out of all those cabinets, I'm committed for 2 of them. I wanna thank everybody for watching this week, and I'll see you guys next time. I got a good deal on it. I love Turtles in Time. It's one of the best beat 'em ups ever. Turtles OG is a good game too, but I'll go with Turtles in Time as my favorite on this cabinet. And like I said, at the Vintage Vault, they come out with the OG original artwork, XL or Deluxe. I'm gonna go with that. I had to, you know, these are tough decisions. I had to part with this, and as far as NBA Jam, you know, putting that Sabos topper on here, the Sabos marquee, the control filler, and I found some decals on eBay. Just never been satisfied. I should have got Shaq Jam day one instead of going with this open box at Best Buy. Tough decisions. You know how it goes in this hobby. Gotta make room.